G'day pickleball family. First thing to know, as shared on pickleballunion.com, City Pickle opening new pickleball venue in Brooklyn. City Pickle continues to make its mark on the pickleball scene in New York City. From their impressive summer pop-up at Wallman Rink in Central Park to their first permanent venue in Long Island City, City Pickle has dedicated itself to providing NYC with some of the best, most accessible pickleball courts around. Now, City Pickle will open a brand new indoor location in Brooklyn at 51 34th Street within Industry City, one of Brooklyn's most popular art-focused entertainment districts. The venue will have 7 state-of-the-art indoor pickleball courts, which will be available to the public for rental starting on November 4th. City Pickle was co-founded by Erica Desai and Mary Cannon, who have made it their mission to share their love of pickleball with those in need of court space since starting City Pickle about a year ago. Together, they've been able to curate pickleball court venues that feel incredibly welcoming and community-driven. In a recent interview with Brooklyn Paper, Cannon and Desai reiterated their goal of serving New York's pickleball player population. They firmly believe that Brooklyn is the perfect part of the community to tap into. Our mission at City Pickle is to bring the joy and community of pickleball to as many New Yorkers as possible. Launching in Industry City is a milestone moment for us that marks our first ever courts in Brooklyn, and we could not think of a more perfect location and partner. Cannon and Desai. The 7 new courts at Industry City bring their total to 25 courts in the New York City area, including the seasonal Wallman Rink and Long Island City locations, which have helped serve an estimated player population of about 57,000. The brand new Industry City location feels especially exciting as they can now cater to New York pickleball players on the south side of town. The industrial setting of the box factory at Industry City gives these courts a unique atmosphere. Courts nestle between giant steel beams and concrete in a room completely encompassed by floor-to-ceiling industrial windows. If you're looking for a space with a cool vibe to get some games in, this is it. City Pickle's Industry City location will be open 7 days a week with the following hours: opening 4th of November, Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m, Wednesday and Friday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m, and Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Courts can be reserved online up to 2 weeks in advance for members and 1 week in advance for non-members. Second thing to know, as also shared on pickleballunion.com, pickleball's pretty much perfect except for one nagging problem. We're all more than familiar with the pickleball noise problem. However, for a while, it seemed that developers were getting to grips with the problem. Pickleball Union has produced a couple of articles that bode well for the future. USA Pickleball, the national governing body for the sport in the US, announced the introduction of its quiet category for pickleball products. At the same time, news came in of Pickleball Sound Mitigation LLC founder Bob Unitich pioneering potentially groundbreaking sound-absorbent fiberglass sheeting. However, the stories just keep coming in about pickleball and its antisocial noise problem. The latest example tells how the noise generated by pickleball play on Greenbrier Hills Country Club's courts in Kirkwood, Missouri, exceeded St. Louis County noise ordinance levels. Overlooking the recently constructed pickleball courts she had worked hard to protest against, local resident Julie Missy recounted how they had suspected there would be an issue. We had given the club substantial evidence before they built the pickleball courts that they were building too close to residential properties, she said, and now their members have a pickleball facility they can't even use. I'm relieved for the time being that my neighbours and I aren't going to be subjected to the constant crack of a pickleball paddle. The end result is that it was too loud, Jonathan Raish, Kirkwood's Planning and Development Services Coordinator, stated. The approval that was granted is only valid if the post-construction sound study shows that they're actually meeting the county's noise ordinance, Raish said in January. Greenbrier Hills Country Club proceeded to build the courts, knowing they couldn't be used for pickleball play unless they passed the sound test. And in August, acoustical engineers started gathering and analysing the sonic data. On Monday, the results were released. The engineers concluded that continuous play of pickleball for a 1 hour duration exceeds the St. Louis County noise-related ordinance. That means no permit until those noise levels are satisfied. That's right, our job is to make sure they meet the code, meet the requirements Race affirmed, and we'll hold them to that by any means we can. Once they comply and meet all those, they'll be able to use the courts. A representative for the country club shared a statement with us that reads in part, "We are planning additional sound mitigation to the courts and a follow-up study will be conducted. This process will continue until it is determined that the playing of pickleball is compliant with the St. Louis County Code." That's why Missy isn't too excited about what is probably just a temporary win in a pickleball court conflict she and her neighbours may eventually lose. Meanwhile, we're reminded every time we look out our kitchen window where we used to have a peaceful green valley, she said. Now we're looking at this really unattractive black wall that's only going to get bigger and taller as they try to address the noise. And if you're finding this pickleball news video helpful, please be sure to ding that like button. Third thing to know, as shared on pickleball52.com, the English Premier Pickleball League, what's next? Midway through its inaugural season, the Premier Pickleball League, PPL, is shaping up to be an exciting and competitive showcase of some of the best pickleball talent nationwide in England. The PPL, sponsored by Franklin, sees teams compete over 6 best-of-3 matches to 15 in men's singles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, women's singles, men's doubles, and mixed doubles. If teams are tied at 3-3 after these matches, a dream breaker singles is played. There are 6 teams in the league, and each team plays each other twice throughout the league season. Standings from the league will determine team seedings for the playoffs and championship match at the end of the season. Edward Haas, one of the league's creators, said he is really happy with how the league's gone so far. He added, "Everything is still really tight. It's very exciting." Edward said he and his PPL co-founders went on to say players have loved the chance to play, saying he has taken most pleasure in how the individuals have bonded within their teams. He said, "I didn't realise how much teams would get behind it in terms of the social aspect." Plans have already started to formulate for beyond the end of this inaugural season. He explained there is potential for a greater number of teams in the following seasons and a greater number of leagues with a lower tier leading into the league. The PPL provides the potential for the top players in the country to be pitted against one another on a more regular basis. Up until now, Edward says most activity in England has been focused on growing grassroots participation. That is completely fair enough because it's a completely new, evolving sport, but we think it's also about time that there should be some focus on trying to grow the professional side of the game as well. An expansion of both teams and leagues offers the perfect opportunity for this, as it provides the scope for greater coverage and showcase of the best pickleball talents that England has to offer. Edward is also keen to implement better live streaming coverage and create something that can be a viable product for broadcast, in the same way that Major League Pickleball, MLP, has appeared on ESPN and Amazon Prime. So far, the English PPL has encountered problems with connectivity at match venues. With the help of Sam Anderson, the live streaming has more recently got back on track and has included commentary, garnering a few thousand views. PPL are also keen to coincide their fixtures with pickleball festivals around the country in a bid to increase their profile and bring a higher level of atmosphere and support to their events. July's fixture in Norwich coincided with a pickleball festival, which had 75 recreational competitors enjoying the sport across 10 courts. This meant that when PPL fixtures took place, there were around 150 people with a good atmosphere. Just like the sport itself, Premier League Pickleball has got off to a flying start, and its profile and popularity is only heading in one direction. Fourth thing to note, as also shared on pickleball52.com, English tennis great Tim Henman is a pickleball convert. Beaverbrook in Surrey has become the first hotel in England to offer pickleball courts for their guests, and they invited Great Britain tennis legend Tim Henman to try them out. Henman, a 6-time major semi-finalist, joined none other than UK's #1 pickleball player Thaddeus Locke for a hit on the courts just south of Leatherhead. Beaverbrook has partnered with Short Court, the upscale pickleball equipment apparel company, to provide all the equipment for the players at the hotel. Henman, 49, admitted to being a pickleball skeptic before his appearance at Beaverbrook, but ended the session asking a representative from Pickleball England where the nearest court to his house in Oxfordshire would be. Speaking to the Evening Standard, Henman explained how his opinion had changed. I love the different variations. You have some really soft points where you're trying to dink it over the net, and then you have some really fast exchanges. Tennis is sometimes quite tricky, especially when you're young, because the ball isn't as easy to control. Whereas this is brilliant. I think it's much easier to have enjoyment. I am absolutely convinced. Beaverbrook director Joel Cadbury said it's just so convivial as he watched his wife and children playing in mixed gender and age games across the new courts. Pickleball is the first game I can remember playing where gender is totally irrelevant, Cadbury added. The number of pickleball courts in the UK has more than doubled in a year, now reaching 400 as player numbers continue to grow. Another former Great Britain tennis #1, Andy Murray, has also involved himself with the sport, with pickleball courts added to his Cromlix Hotel in Scotland a month prior to the opening of Beaverbrook's courts. Paddles up!